Welcome to Good Enough for God. I am Dana, and I'm glad that you are here, and I'm excited. I have my special guest who is the husband of my very first guest, Nikki McGillivary. You're not Nikki, you are her husband, Paul McGillivary. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be
Yeah,
here.
I'm glad you're here. So, Paul, I find what your wife has told me about you very interesting.
Okay,
She says that you wrote a book,
I did.
and tell me about this book.
It's called Prophetic Partnership,
Mm-hmm.
and it was definitely the Lord forcing me to write it.
What do you mean forcing
I
you?
didn't want to write it. I didn't
Okay.
want to write a book. Basically, he was saying, "I want you to write this, actually a series of books." And part of it was just kind of me putting myself out there, which is always a little bit
Yes.
hard, as you
Mhm.
know.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, with family dynamics and everything, putting yourself out there, especially in the area of the prophetic, is particularly difficult.
Because people might think you're a little nutty.
Yes,
Okay.
very much so.
So how did the Lord get you to do this?
Wow, that's a long process. My journey into the prophetic probably 10 years ago, very close to the same time that Nikki had her experience with Holy Spirit,
Mhm.
kind of blew my world up. I had a glory experience with the Lord, a weightiness,
Okay.
and where I literally could barely move. And I got a little panicked because I had never had that kind of
Yeah, what's
experience.
going on?
Somebody was praying for me, and the glory of the Lord came in the room. And that word in Hebrew is kavod, and it means weight.
Okay.
Glory of the Lord in Hebrew means weight. It's weighty.
So you felt a weight on you.
Yeah, it was like a 100-pound weight vest got put on me, probably more than that. And so I barely could move.
Okay.
And I had no grid for that. I got panicked because I didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on.
Mhm.
That was kind of my first entry into things of the Holy Spirit, and
Boy, that's a big one.
it's a big one. And so out of that, I moved into the prophetic very quickly because of my background. Even though I didn't know the Lord when I was younger, I had lots of prophetic encounters that I didn't realize were prophetic.
So tell me about that. So did you start out as an atheist? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. So my family, very unchurched.
Mhm.
We're actually English. Came here when I was 5, and my dad came here for work, and we never talked about God. Scientific rationalist kind of
Sure.
upbringing,
Mhm.
and not judging that. It's just kind of the background I came up in,
Mm.
and so really didn't hear about God or Jesus until middle school, when my friends were using the Lord's name in vain. And I was like, who is this Jesus character? Literally,
Really? You didn't even hear about Jesus?
no,
That's
knew
crazy.
nothing.
Whoa.
And kind of the turning point for me was in high school. Played soccer. Nikki played soccer. We actually met in high school.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And there was a very strong core group of Christians on those teams. And that was the first time I kind of started really hearing. Let me step back just a few years before that.
Mhm.
We were in the Mason School District at the time, and at that time, the high school wasn't very good at academics. It is now,
Okay.
obviously.
Mhm.
So my father approached me and said, I'm going to give you a choice. Your choice is you're going to Moeller High School.
Really? Did he know it was like a
No,
Catholic
I mean,
school?
he knew it was a Catholic school, but he
Uh-huh.
wanted me to get some better academics.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that was the main thing. That's when I first read the Bible. And I
Oh.
was like, what is this? I really had no clue.
Uh-huh.
And so that was my introduction. I had lots of questions.
I bet.
And so then when we moved to the Lakota School District, that's when I got introduced to all these Christians.
Okay.
And I had lots of questions. I would talk to Nikki forever about
Hmm.
God, and so she was kind of helping school me in those kind of things, and became a believer in college. But that was a long process for me because I really counted the cost, because I knew that it was going to affect my family life.
How did it? I mean, your parents were like, "Hey, we're not on board with this. We don't have anything in common anymore." Like how was that? Or maybe some friends that used to hang out with, they're like, "Well, we don't really want to hang out with you anymore."
Yeah, I pretty much lost all my friends.
You did.
Yeah, I played soccer in college, and we would party together, and
Mhm.
the Lord's like, well, you can't do that anymore. And so really was kind of persecuted by my teammates
Sure.
for making that change.
Mhm.
And, my father and my mother, great people, but my dad definitely didn't understand that decision. And then
Yeah.
after college, we actually both went to seminary. for
You
4 years.
you and Nikki?
Yes.
Oh,
We were married right out of college,
okay.
and we went to seminary for 4 years, and my dad really didn't like that
My
decision.
gosh. Well, how is your dad with you now?
Good. We're good friends,
Okay. Yeah,
and he appreciates the difference. He's read my prophetic book,
that's good.
which was he didn't really have much to say about it because I think it was totally off his grid.
It is amazing. I'm sure you're a dad. You know how different your kids can be from you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you said there were things that happened to you that were kind of prophetic that
Yes.
you didn't realize when you were younger.
Yes. So, probably when I was about 4 years old, I was in the backyard in England,
Okay.
and I was just looking out on the back, and I felt like I was just thinking. But I was like, "How did all these trees get here?" And I
Mhm.
was really having an interaction with God in that moment, and, didn't realize it until years later. I was also very attacked in my dream life,
Yeah.
very attacked as a kid, and didn't really understand it.
Like how, just bad nightmares or?
Horrible nightmares,
Yeah.
over and over and over again, and, yeah, just coming with a lot of intimidation and fear.
And that was the enemy trying to shut you down in your gift before you knew you
Yes.
even had it.
Very much so. After I came into kind of that experience with Holy Spirit, I had an experience where I woke up out of an attack dream and saw something in my room
Ugh,
in the corner
okay.
looking at me
Oh,
that was clearly demonic. And that actually emboldened me because I was like, oh, somebody's intimidated by what I'm stepping into.
my gosh.
And so that actually emboldened me to do more.
You're making me think of when I was a kid, I was afraid to sleep by myself. And I always had to have the closet door closed. I had a younger sister, and I would make her go to sleep with me at night because I was scared, and she'd hold my hands.
Yes,
So I don't
totally.
know what the heck was going on.
Yes.
And I had a howdy doody ventriloquist doll that sat in this chair, and I would
Terrifying.
look over at him like his mouth is gonna move.
Like,
But you saw a real demon. It wasn't howdy doody.
no, that's
No.
happened to me a few times. I don't see in the spirit a lot, but I've definitely had some demonic and angelic kind of encounters that I've seen.
Like what kind of angelic encounter?
My daughter definitely sees in the spirit,
Mhm.
and she said she had an experience with Uriel, which is like an archangel. And I was coming home from work one time, and I saw like flames above our house. I didn't see them physically, but in the spirit, I was seeing them in my mind.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's weird. And then I went into our bedroom and I saw out of the corner of my eye somebody standing in front of the window and had fire as hair. And I was like, hello, that's wild. I
Okay.
turned really quick and then he was gone, which happens quite a bit with me.
Wow. See, I
So,
wanna see angels. I don't wanna see demons.
yeah. Yes.
That would be pretty cool. Tell me more about dreams. Like,
Yeah.
do you dream a lot now? Do you
Yeah.
know how to interpret them? Like,
Yeah. I've gotten pretty decent at interpreting both mine and other people's dreams. I really enjoy it because it
mm,
just, the Lord speaks a lot through dreams.
yeah.
And, coming from that background, because I would have very kind of fantastic dreams and kind of stories and dreams where I would wake up and be like, wow, that's really weird. I've had a few predictive dreams
Okay.
where one particular time I was dreaming, I was at work. I got called into a phone call with a certain person at my work who I was not reporting to at the time.
Mhm.
And they said, we have to have a meeting because we're doing a reorg and you're going to be moved to this other area and you're going to be under this other person. I went and spoke to that person in my dream and they said, don't worry about it. Well, all of that happened in real life a few months later where I got called into a phone call
Yeah.
and I had been moved under that person.
Wow.
I was reporting to them and they said, we're going to do a reorg. And I forget the word right now, but he used a certain word that was very odd that was also in my dream.
Did it freak you out when things started happening at your work? And why do you think God showed you that stuff?
Great questions. Yeah. Uh, when I got the call and then he started speaking and he used that word, I just got really excited actually.
Mhm.
And I almost wanted to scream on the phone. I dreamt this phone call. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, Paul, you're
So
a kook.
yeah, right. I know. Well,
Yeah.
it causes me to like go into like wonder mode.
Yeah.
Like that I'm amazed at how God works. I think he was showing me that because it was going to be a very tumultuous time at work. And so
Mm,
he wanted to kind of encourage me that I was actually going in the right direction because
okay.
I had big questions about whether I wanted to stay there. And so the Lord was telling me, no, you need to stay here for this period.
In the Bible, isn't it written that he doesn't really do anything without kind of telling somebody first?
Yeah, the prophets,
Mhm,
before he reveals it to the prophets. And, in Job, he talks about how he speaks to people in dreams in the middle of the night and
mhm,
visions, and
mhm.
he can warn people and stuff like that. That's also in Job.
Yeah,
But yeah, he definitely speaks through his prophets.
but in the Bible, nobody seems to listen.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Hmm. I'm not one of those people, I swear.
Oh, yeah, you only have to give me a million dreams and then I'll listen, you know? Why do you think God wants to partner with his people? Like
Great question.
like,
Yeah.
whether you're prophetic or
Yes. I mean, it's very clear he could do it on his own. So the fact that he chooses to engage us like that to me is a very loving thing. It's a very relational, intimate thing,
Mhm.
because he could just
Do it.
make it happen.
Mhm.
And so it shows a lot of care too, I think, because, people want God to move in a certain way where it just happens
Yes,
and
quickly.
quickly. And a lot of times that does not happen.
Mm-mm.
He loves process.
Yeah.
He loves process. And part of it, and, I talk to people a lot about this because I'm like, the gold is in the process. When you go through the process with the Lord, you're learning who he is, and he is showing more about you in the process. And so it's a deepening of relationship as you go through it.
Mm.
And but we push against it. And I think it's because it's hard a lot of times.
That's a great way to look at it. It's kind of, you want to the journey versus the destination and what he's doing in your relationship through that. That's very helpful.
And I can definitely be an A to B person.
Yeah.
Like in my day to day, that's what I do. I solve problems all day,
Mm.
so I can very much get stuck in kind of the transactional A to B kind of mindset. And the Lord is so good to remind me, you know what? Get in the process with me, And so I think a huge part of it is revealing who he is to us and
Okay.
also revealing things about ourselves, which is beautiful.
What have you come to know about God?
Wow, he is way bigger than I realized. He is very hilarious.
Yeah.
He can be very, I have these moments with the Lord. I say it's like ghetto Jesus. Where he will speak very shortly to me.
Okay.
Like one time he was saying, "Hey, I want you to go over and talk to this person," and I was like, "Well, I don't really know that person, but there's some people over there that I would really talk to." He said, "Well, did I tell you to go over and talk to those people? Like,
No.
no, you didn't. Then go over and talk to that person." And I don't take offense at that at all. He's kind of joking with me in it.
He
Like,
knows you can take it. He knows you.
yes. And so I've learned that he is really funny. He is brilliant at solving problems, relational problems, situational problems. His perspective is way bigger than mine. And I trust myself a lot and not as much him as I want to.
Okay.
And so that's a big thing I'm going through right now is I asked him, and this is a little bit of a dangerous prayer, but I want to trust you more.
Mm, yeah.
And so then he
Sure.
gives you opportunities.
And then it's scary.
It's scary. And so everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong in the last year. I mean, it's been unbelievable how many things have gone wrong. And what he's working on with me in that is a mindset.
Mhm.
As those things come, where do I go immediately? Because I used to kind of catastrophize like, oh my goodness, this is going to go to this. And he's like, we need to change the way you're thinking about those things.
Yeah, it's a lens change.
It is.
I talked about that, I don't know, maybe my second episode, but I've been praying, "Lord, I give me a lens change. Help me to look at things differently. Help me to look at myself differently and others." I realize how much I just see people and I kinda make a quick judgment.
Mm,
But then if I get to know them and set that aside, I'm always surprised.
okay. Yes.
Um,
Could be good or bad. Who knows?
yeah,
But
sometimes I'm right.
yeah, right. You
You gotta trust
discern,
those
right?
feelings, yeah,
Yes.
discernment. Is there a certain experience you've had with the prophetic that you would like to share that maybe is really relatable to somebody
Well,
or
a lot of times I will say things to people and you don't get to see the process. You don't
Mhm.
get to see the working out of whatever the Lord was trying to say to that person.
Okay.
And so I've learned if the Lord's saying it to me and I
Mhm.
know his voice, I'm going to say it if he wants me to say it in that particular time. Because there's sometimes timing issues with the prophetic.
Exactly.
And some people think I should just say it. I'm like, no,
No.
sometimes you're supposed to
Mm-mm.
go and pray for that person, or sometimes you may never give it to them, you know? So definitely, I've had some moments where I get to hear back from people.
Mm.
This is how this impacted my life, and it was life changing. I'm like,
Wow.
well, that's God for sure, to start with. But so definitely in those moments where you get to hear back a process, I really love and I cherish those because a lot of times, I'm interacting with people and I may never see them again.
Yeah.
And so I'm
So
just
you don't
giving them
know.
whatever they need in that moment and trusting that the Lord's going to use it. So it's always helpful to get that back and be like, okay, I am hearing correctly.
Mhm.
And I've done a lot of practice over it in the past where I get immediate feedback from people like, how did that sit with you? Did that really speak,
Yeah.
to kind of the situation? And if you want to tell me later on, if it didn't hit right now,
Mhm.
tell me later on, with people I know,
Okay.
which I almost it's almost harder doing it with people you know.
Yeah. I had a friend who asked me to interpret a dream for her. This was years ago, and it was like a warning dream.
Oh, yeah.
And I've had to tell her this stuff, and she did not receive it at
Oh,
all. I'm like, "Well, you asked me."
yes.
And I so we're really not friends anymore. It wasn't so much because of that, but that was the beginning of the end of our friendship. And she made me really doubt too what I was doing I'm not right all the time. I may not have been 100%. Well, yeah, I was on this one because as things have played out
That's
in
part
her
of that.
life, I've seen it and it's sad. And I was like, gosh, okay. I didn't have the dream about her. She had it. She asked me.
Oh, wow. So
Yes,
she actually had the dream.
she had
Wow.
the dream
Whoa.
and asked me about it.
Man, wow. I've had a
Mhm.
couple instances where the Lord has asked me specifically to warn people. And it's
Yes.
always hard
Mhm.
because you're like, man, if I'm wrong on this, and so, but in both those instances, they were very right and things did not go well for them. In one of them, I was in a meeting with, I didn't know who this person was.
Mhm.
And the Lord said, the devil's going to sift this person and they need to know it. It's coming. And I was like, that's a weighty word.
So you said that.
I was with somebody who knew them better.
Mhm.
And after the meeting, I said, the Lord just said this to me about this person. And they said, oh, I'm going to tell them that
Okay.
because I could actually see that.
Okay.
And so
Mhm.
they told them, and then it happened. It literally did not go well because they took kind of a road of pride in it. They didn't humble themselves. And so always difficult to see those. Those are the really, really hard ones,
Yeah.
but there's been plenty where people have been blessed, which have been really fun, hilarious interaction. Like one time I was praying for somebody outside and I said, the Lord is like, it's like he's blowing a trumpet. And right when I said that, a train horn blew
Oh
off
my gosh.
really close to us,
Yeah.
which was weird because of the terrain. You couldn't actually hear the train coming.
Mm.
So we were all really shocked. And then afterwards I said, and again, I hear the Lord saying that he's going to signal off like a trumpet, and it blew it
Oh
again.
my
And we all just kind of
gosh.
sat there and went, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
That's confirmation.
Yes.
So what I think is difficult sometimes, and I think even in getting prepared to do this podcast, I think I needed to be a little bit tougher. Like if I say something or if somebody's going to criticize me, I need to be okay with that and know how to handle that. Did you go through a season of that where the Lord was preparing you and um
Yes.
okay.
I mean, just so, getting comfortable with the fact that I'm hearing well, I just did a lot of training, put myself in situations, and I feel like I'm still going through it really, honestly. I feel like
Mhm.
that's kind of a process you just continually go through where you're kind of getting sure in who you are. Part of it's identity,
Exactly.
and not being afraid of people disagreeing or,
Yeah.
because I realize, sometimes I don't hear right. There could be an
Mhm.
issue on my side or there could be an issue on their side receiving,
Mhm.
because it's different parties involved and how they work that out. So yeah, definitely have been challenged many, many, many times.
Yeah. You know,
Especially if you get something that's kind of faint and kind of out of the blue and you're like, "Wow, really? You want me to say that?"
gosh.
It's hard.
Yeah. I did. The Lord had a funny way of preparing me to do this. Like I kept having these encounters with people, strangers, where they were really mean to me. And this was maybe a month ago. And I had been in the house all day. I'm like, I got to run up to Walgreens. I got to pick up a prescription. And I'm parked on the street in front of our house instead of our driveway. And I'm getting ready to take off. And when you get to the end of our street and you turn on a bigger street, there's a traffic light there. And I know from living here for 18 years that if I'm going to have to turn left at this light, I'm going to sit there for a year before the light turns. I knew I was turning right at the light. So I'm like, I'm going to go. There's a car coming up behind me, but I'm going to take off in case they're going to turn left. Does that make sense? I didn't want to be behind them. So I took off and I turned right. I'm on my way to Walgreens, and there was a woman in the car behind me. She started tailing me real close because she didn't like that I took off. Yeah. I didn't slow her down in any way. I didn't cut her off, but she was mad. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I turned into Walgreens. She took another entrance into Walgreens. We meet each other facing our cars in the parking lot. I turn it into park. She parks right next to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I get out of my car. She backs her car out to block me so I can't walk. And then she pulls back in. I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm just going to act normal. Go in, I get in line at the pharmacy. And she came in and she walked past me and called me a name and then just kept going.
Whoa.
And I was like, "Ah," I'm like, well, you were tailing me. And she's like, well, you cut me off. I'm like, well, I didn't want to sit there for a year at the light in case you were turning left. Idiot. But I don't think she even needed to go to Walgreens. She came in just to call me a name. I don't even remember what she called me.
Yes.
I was like, why did this just happen?
Yes.
And I think the Lord's like, I'm toughening you up, but you can't call people idiots.
Well, I'll tell you, a big part of my experience, honestly, has been like interactions that were definitely demonic
Oh,
with people. And I didn't like it.
yeah.
I basically went the other way. And the Lord's like, the more you step into your authority, you're on a crash course with this.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, what does that mean? And I've had many interactions that were clearly, I mean, not people hashing their teeth and hissing at me and
Yes. Oh,
staring me down. And
yes.
Nikki's seen this where I'll just be in a meeting and somebody will stare me. I don't know this person at all. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, look at this person, what they're doing with you. That happens a lot.
So how do you handle that? Like, I don't think I should have called that woman an idiot.
But it's easy to respond out of that. One time I was at a soccer game coaching and I heard screaming behind me, and I'm coaching, and there's a lot of logistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you got young boys who are spazzing out. And,
Sure.
um, I finally turned around after probably 5 minutes, and this lady is pointing at me, screaming at me, telling me, "You know what you did?"
What?
And I turned because I'm coaching, and the kid next to me said, "What did you do?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't know this person at all."
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I just at that moment, there was gonna be no interaction, obviously, because 'cause I'm coaching, I have that responsibility.
Right.
And, people saw it, were like, "What in the world?" And you could think, like, maybe this person's got something mentally going
Sure.
on, but I don't think so
It's
because
just
I've
a
had
spirit in them.
I've had a number of kind of encounters where, there's clear intimidation
Mm-hmm.
coming,
Right.
and it's a clear signal to shut you down.
Yeah.
And I refuse to be shut down. And
Yeah.
so for me, it's been sometimes I honestly kind of laugh about it now because I'm like, I
Yeah.
see you. Like,
Oh my gosh.
and then there's been some interactions where if it's become even more clear that that's what's going on.
So that's just, you need to look at it as confirmation. Okay.
Yes.
The enemy's coming against you because you
Yeah.
have something, you in the Lord, and
I
the
mean,
enemy
that's been
doesn't like
since
it.
yeah, it's one of the more difficult things, certainly, is like learning to be able to handle, and sometimes it's just people and they're just being mean, and
Yeah.
sometimes because people can be mean,
Yeah.
and they have unhealed parts in themselves, and
Yeah.
so it's just learning to kind of deal with that. It's not easy.
Yeah. So do you talk about this stuff in your book? Or the how to with the prophetic?
Yeah, so the book, I mainly wanted it for people who were just kind of getting started or unsure
Okay.
about the prophetic, and I
Mm-hmm.
try to make it very kind of story-like and very easy to read. I hope it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of my experience. I try to really tell my experiences in it. I try to be very vulnerable about the challenges to me, and
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't do things well.
Yeah.
Some
Right.
things went well, some
Mm-hmm.
things didn't go well,
Mm-hmm.
and owning up to the parts that I didn't do well. So it's kind of, I try to go through it like, if I was starting out in the prophetic, how would I want somebody to take me through that? And so I have like a series of activities after each chapter where people can kind of go through and practice.
Okay.
That's very low bar,
All right.
because that's another thing. People get very nervous, which they should,
Mm-hmm.
if they're like, "Hey, I want you to prophesy over this person," and that's like the first time they're doing it. They're like, I don't know if I like this, or so some people really struggle with that. So I try to be very like low bar.
I would like a copy of your book,
Oh, sure.
signed.
Oh God,
And how does somebody get a copy of
it's
your
on
book?
Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
It's called Prophetic Partnership.
Okay. Well, let's end there. And I know I'm going to want to have you back sometime. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on and sharing. I think it was incredibly interesting and encouraging. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
If you like what you've heard on the podcast, please remember to click subscribe on the platform where you're listening. And until next time, remember that God is good and you are good enough for God.